Hi, and welcome to BS with Becca. BS with Becca, it's not what you're thinking. Today, it's Bring Stories. Today, I'm going to be doing storytelling because I think there's nothing that we can do better to help each other in this bad time than to tell each other good stories. Hi, whoever joined me. Thanks for being with me. So I'm going to finish a story that I had started a little bit. I told you a little bit about yesterday, and there's a whole bunch of aspects to it. So it's a fun story to bring to you today. So that's our BS for today. The story is when I brought a group of Indonesians over to do relief in the Katrina disaster. So let me tell you how it started. First of all, if you remember the 2004 tsunami that happened in Indonesia, 200,000 people died. It was crazy. You can't even imagine the devastation. And so I went and I worked there actually for 8 years afterwards. And one of the things that I did was I brought a group of survivors from the tsunami. I brought them 9 months later to Mississippi, and they did relief work for Katrina and rebuilding people's houses down in Mississippi. And the reason that I did this, there were several things, but one of them was the people of Indonesia after the tsunami, when we're bringing them help, and the U.S. was there very quickly, and there was so much aid just poured in. They were so grateful. Now, I would like to remind you that the area that it hit is about 99% Muslim. And so I was working with all these Muslim people, and we also hired, in addition to serving Muslim people, helping them, we also had fellow workers who were Muslim who helped us, who joined our team in doing the work. We hired probably over about 500 people. We had $100 million. It was from churches all over the world. It was amazing. So anyway, one of the things that the people kept saying to us is, how can we thank the United States? We're so appreciative of all you did. I think we even brought one of those big, huge Navy ships, a medical hospital ship. We brought it and parked it right off their shores, and because all their buildings had been devastated, and we used that to serve people too. So they said, we don't have any way to thank you. We don't have any money to give you. We don't, you're so far away. How can we help you? So I talked to my boss, and she agreed when Katrina happened that we could bring some Indonesians over to help to say thank you to the United States for what we had done for them during the tsunami. So we stayed for about 3 weeks down in Mississippi, and we stayed in camps, volunteer camps. So one of the really big things that was fun for the Indonesians was to realize our spirit of volunteerism in the United States, which is so incredible, that they were people taking their vacations, people from Oregon and Maine and from all over the U.S. taking buses and coming and working in these camps, these volunteer camps to repair the houses after Katrina. So one day we strolled around. There were many of these volunteer camps down there. So we were strolling around one of them, and we got back into our van, and one of the women that had come on the trip, one of the women Indonesians, she says to everybody in the van, would anyone like a Jewish almond? And I thought to myself, what's a Jewish almond? And I couldn't figure it out. And they actually were just chocolate covered almonds. But I said, well, where did you get them? And she said, oh, well, when we were walking around the volunteer camp just now, I met a group of young students, and I started talking to them. And it turned out they were Jewish. They were from a Jewish college, and they were on spring break, and they had come to work on the Katrina relief. And I said, oh, okay. And she said, so I asked them if I could take a picture with them because I want to go back and show my Muslim friends that actually here Jewish people do volunteer work and help live in a Christian camp while they're helping the poor people whose houses were destroyed. And I wanted them to see this amazing story. So after we were done, I had selfies with them, and then they gave me some almonds. So I'm calling them Jewish almonds. And so I said, yeah, I guess you can call those Jewish almonds. But I love that sort of innocent way she led us all. That was great storytelling because we're all thinking, what are Jewish almonds? So it was very good. Now, the same woman, a couple of days later, every night in the volunteer camp, we would gather and tell stories from the day. And she said to all of us, oh, every day I have to I've been trying and trying and trying to call my family back home, but the cell phone connection is so bad because we were way out in an area that didn't have a lot of cell phone towers. She said, my cell phone doesn't work here. Their cell phone doesn't work very well there. We have a hard time finding a time because it's a completely different time zones on the other side of the world. She said, I'm really having a hard time getting and having a long conversation with them. And I miss my husband and children back home. And she said, but then I realized, finally, I was able to just say to them, are you okay? And I heard them say, yes. And then I said to them, I love you. And they said to me, we love you too. And so she said, then I realized the most important thing that I needed to communicate to my family back home was, are you okay? And to remind them that I love them. And she said, and so then I realized that's actually, people keep asking me, why did I come all the way from Indonesia over here to the United States to help? And she said, I realized I just needed to know, are you okay? And I wanted to tell you that I love you. It's going to make me cry. It was such a beautiful story, a beautiful way she told it, and a beautiful summary of what we all should be doing, that we should be realizing that in this time, it's not just the US, it's all around the world this is happening. And we need to listen to what's going on in the rest of the world and find out, are you okay? And remind them that we love them, that we love all the people of this world, not just people like us. So thanks for listening to BS with Becca. Thanks for joining me. Remember to share your stories with other people. Bring stories like this, fun stories, joyful stories, good stories to other people so that we can all keep our spirits up in this time. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time on BS with Becca.